For 3 consecutive years, I had the goal of starting a YouTube channel. However, I was left in a state of analysis paralysis, and I was actually held back by imposter syndrome in that I feared that I wasn't ready to get started or to show my face altogether. I was scared what my family and my friends were going to say if they found my videos circulating on social media or probably even on YouTube. And so it wasn't until February of this year that I finally gathered the courage to get started on YouTube. And so in today's video, I'm going to share what the journey has actually been like for 8 consecutive months of having to consistently shoot, edit and upload 2 videos at least every single week. And so if you're new here, my name is Nana. I hold a master's degree in business finance, and on this channel we discuss everything personal finance and personal development. And so clearly, as you can see, I'm no YouTube guru. I'm only telling you the things and sharing the experiences of what it's actually been like over the past couple of months, and you might find it useful if you are actually setting out to start a YouTube channel, or you are a small channel working tirelessly towards monetization altogether. And so without further ado, let's just dive in to identify some of the key things that are actually holding several hundreds of thousands of people back from starting on YouTube. And that the first thing that is very, very important for us to address is imposter syndrome. And imposter syndrome is that nagging feeling or a voice in your head consistently telling you that you don't have the requisite competencies or the abilities to get started on your goals altogether. And in this case, when it comes to YouTube, it is generally, I don't have the best of gear, I don't have the best of cameras, the best of microphones and all of those things that we generally say to ourselves. But deep down, it is just, a surface utterances that are meant to hide the fear of getting started and the fear of criticism. And those fears are actually genuine because we are human beings, we're emotional beings that make emotional decisions more often than not. And then subsequently, we back those emotional decisions with logic. And so starting out on YouTube, you're likely going to be faced with imposter syndrome. And for even the big creators out there like the Ali Abdaals and all of that, it gets to a point where you never get away from imposter syndrome. There are topics that you're actually going to talk about that you still feel like you're an amateur and that you don't have the requisite knowledge to even address those issues or to talk about them or to make videos on them. And so in a nutshell, you're never going to get ready. So you have to start with what I call the growth mindset. So try as much as possible to start with what is necessary or what you have usually. And then as time goes on, perfect it as time goes on. Because that is the best way for you to get started. But more importantly, to actually get to drift towards the attainment of that goal that you set out to achieve. And that is YouTube monetization. Also, one of the key ways that you can actually address imposter syndrome is to leverage other people's experiences or their competences altogether. So for most people out there, one of the key reasons why they've not started just yet on YouTube is because they don't know how to edit, they don't know how to script their videos, and they don't know how to design their thumbnails. And that is okay, because 9 months ago, I was still in the exact position that you are currently. And so one of the key things that you can do is to fall on the advice or probably on the ability of other people, and that comes in the form of you having to outsource several processes in the production. So for instance, if you're very bad at video editing or you don't know anything about it, you can go on freelancing platforms like Fiverr and outsource your video editing to people on there. You pay them a couple of bucks and then subsequently they would be able to edit those videos and then get you still moving. So don't let that video editing skills that you lack hold you back. And the only way that you can go about it is to leverage other people's skills. Now, of course, today it's easier for you to script videos simply because of AI. Now, AI has made it much more easier to, design thumbnails and all of that. ChatGPT can help you to do most of the things. And then if you're really held back still with video editing, then you can outsource that process. And then that would ensure that you get started. But more importantly, you keep to the goal of having to shoot and editing and then posting videos every week, which also increases your chances of seeing monetization on YouTube altogether. Lastly, one of the best ways to actually approach and to finally get over imposter syndrome and get started is to actually subsequently master the fear of failure. And that is something that is very, very difficult for most people to do. And I'm included, because when I was starting out, I was really thinking about, how I would fail along the line, and the tempest and the challenges that might spring in the entire process of having to create videos and uploading them on YouTube. But there's one thing that you need to know, and that is the fact that you've got to approach every failure as a mere opportunity or an invitation for you to get better and try something new. And that is what has actually inspired me to shoot 100 videos over the past couple of months. And that has really also ensured that I actually stay consistent, because every single week coming up with different ideas as to what video to shoot, how to edit them, the transitions, designing the thumbnails and all of that, and forcing yourself to learn along the line. I think that is what has really been the foundation of everything that I've actually done till this point. And so with the basic understanding that we have of what YouTube actually is and how we can get started, let's move on straight to address some of the expectations that people have that generally make them fail. And so for most people, they feel like, YouTube is more or less like a get rich quick scheme. That is not how it is. You've got to stay consistent long enough for people to trust you or for them to find some value in your content before they can subscribe. And then subsequently, you can hit the monetization mark and then eventually get to realize some level of income from that. As opposed to that, what you really want to do is to approach the YouTube content creation as an archaeologist and not an architect. Because, Ali Abdaal goes on to highlight these two factors. He actually goes on to say that most people approach YouTube content creation as an architect. They really want to get everything figured out before they start, but more importantly, they really feel like everything is within their domain to control, and the outcome of every single thing that they do should be determined by them. As opposed to this, what you have to do is that you have to approach the content creation journey as an archaeologist. And what archaeologists usually do is that they go out there in search of relics. They explore to find things that would subsequently give them the results. So they are more or less like having fun with the process, as opposed to architects that have to get everything figured out. Because for most people out there, they might actually get monetized very early. And this is my 101st video, and still I've got 166 wonderful people supporting the goal. And at this point, I just want to say a very big thank you to everyone watching this video, because there are days where I've actually felt like, this is not working, let me stop. But then I remember someone comment and say, oh, this was extremely useful. This content really helped me to start my emergency fund, blah, 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 and all of that. And it really means the world to me. And that is the reason why I still do not stop, even though I've not seen massive results on YouTube, especially comparing that to the effort that I've made over the past 9 months. And so it's easy to tone down and then subsequently approach YouTube content creation as an archaeologist, and that is what I believe would eventually lead you to see the realization of every single goal that you have and success altogether on YouTube. And with that said, we come straight to understanding what really can help you to stay consistent on YouTube. So there is a general concept that I actually follow, and that is a concept of habit tracking. So what that simply says is that you've got to get a physical evidence of every single progress that you've made when it comes to setting goals and attaining those goals. And for me, I set out at the beginning of this year to upload 100 videos by the end of the year. Now, as it stands now, this is on the 7th of November, I think. And I've done 101 videos so far. So what happens afterwards? Now, technically, I've got to set New Year's goals, and that starts from now. That is to maybe extend it by 100 goals more. But then every single time that I record a video and I upload to YouTube, I have what I call a habit tracker. And my wife is actually very, very invested in that. She always goes on to check out all those boxes when I upload those videos. And so it's more or less like she is also an accountability partner. And that is one of the key things that can help you to stay consistent. So one, get a habit tracker or a progress tracker, and then secondly, get accountability partners. Also, share that goal out there. Let it be very, very public, because everyone on this platform, everyone that is a subscriber to my channel, knows that at the beginning of this year, I set out to record 100 videos. And so at this point, if you've not done the 100 videos, we can all hold you accountable and say that you promised or you set the goal of recording, editing, and uploading 100 videos. videos. However, you've not done anywhere close to that. But now, because I've shared the goal, it actually puts some level of pressure on me to be consistent with the goal of having to shoot, edit, and then posting 100 videos at the end of the year. Lastly, one of the key ways to actually ensure consistency when it comes to your YouTube videos is to actually make sure that you incorporate some level of fun or some level of joy into the entire production process. And this is one of the key things that Ali Abdaal highlights in his book, Feel Good Productivity. He goes on to say that feeling good generally is positively correlated with productivity. And so holding all the factors constant, the more happier you are in life, the more likely you are going to be productive. And so on YouTube, the same thing applies. There are days where I really do not feel like shooting. However, my wife would just sit across the camera and then ask me a couple of questions. We answer them, and then that is a YouTube video right there. And then more often than not, I really love, juices. So I get an apple juice like I have here today, and then I sip on it as and when I start and all of that. And that really keeps me going, because you've got to find a joy, things that keep you going. And the only way to get that done is to actually ask yourself the simple question: what is the one thing that will subsequently keep me moving, even though I face several challenges or several problems along the line? And these are things that you alone can decide, but make sure that you incorporate those things into your production process, and that will subsequently ensure the right motivation and, more importantly, the discipline to deliver on your goals. And so if you found value in this video, kindly smash the like button and then consider subscribing, because I'll be shooting several content on personal finance and personal development. And so thank you for spending time with us, and see you in the next video. Cheers.